Hey everyone, welcome to Bible Verse Breakdown. I am Ewaenruwa Nomaren, and in this video, we are going to be looking at Isaiah chapter 46, verse 11, where God Almighty is speaking about His sovereignty and ability to use anyone He wants to achieve His purpose, stated, calling a ravenous bird from the east, the man that executeth my counsel from a far country. Yea, I have spoken it, I will also bring it to pass. I have purposed it, I will also do it. Let's start off with the phrase ravenous bird. So, a raven in those days was an abominable bird. The Israelites were supposed to have absolutely nothing to do with it, according to Leviticus chapter 11 from verses 13 to 15, because it was unclean. It was a scavenger, so it ate dead things. And if you understand the Levitical traditions, you know that the Israelites were not really supposed to have anything to do with dead things because they were unclean. And the reason why I'm saying this is because if you read places like Ezekiel chapter 39 from verses 17 to 20 and Revelation chapter 19 and verses 17 to 18, it was talking spiritually, using those physical birds and their eating habits and how they were abominable, to talk about how God Almighty would use abominable people who don't really follow God's institutions as a tool of judgment. He would give them an opportunity to finally rise up. If you look at how the world was 300 years ago, 400 years ago, spirituality ruled. However, that kind of spirituality where there's this central government and there are these big spiritual rulers who gang up with political leaders to oppress God's people, according to Revelation chapter 18 verse 3 and other places, God wasn't a fan of that system because the truth couldn't really shine. The righteous were oppressed by that system. So what he did was that he brought abominable people. If you look at it in our time, there is always news about how, something bad happened in this spiritual house. It could be a church or wherever. This has happened. Bad people are beginning to flock and come into spirituality, which is why spirituality is beginning to have a little bit of a bad name. When you think about someone who's spiritual, bad things begin to come to your mind depending on how the situation is, because bad people who don't belong in the idea of worshiping God are starting to come in. And this is in fulfillment of places like Revelation chapter 18 verse 2. It's become the house of every unclean and hateful bird. But God Almighty has the ability to bring such people as tools of judgment to judge such apostate spiritual systems or institutions. If you read places like Proverbs chapter 16 verse 4, we can see that God Almighty has control over the wicked and the righteous. The Lord hath made all things for himself, yea, even the wicked for the day of evil. And if you remember King Nebuchadnezzar, God Almighty had specifically called him my servant. If you read Jeremiah chapter 25 verse 9 and chapter 27 verse 6 and chapter 43 verse 10. King Nebuchadnezzar was someone very far. He had nothing to do with the traditions of God. And physically, he was very distant from Israel. Yet he brought him from where he was and took him to bring the Israelites into bondage. So we can see that God can use anyone he wants to achieve his purpose, and no one can stop him. And that's what the last half of the verse was talking about. How just as he has purpose, he will do it and no one can stop him. According to Isaiah chapter 14 verse 27 and Daniel chapter 4 and verses 34 and 35. And if you read Isaiah chapter 55 verse 11, we can see that when God Almighty pronounces judgment, or when God Almighty says something is going to happen, it must happen exactly the way he said it. So shall my word be that goeth forth out of my mouth. It shall not return unto me void, but it shall accomplish that which I please, and it shall prosper in the thing whereto I sent it. And that is where I'm going to stop on discussing that verse, Isaiah chapter 46, verse 11, which once again reads, calling a ravenous bird from the east, the man that executeth my counsel from a far country. Yea, I have spoken it, I will also bring it to pass. I have purposed it, I will also do it. If you have enjoyed this video, please subscribe and hit the notification bell so that you will be notified when we come out with our next verse breakdown. Have a great day, and God bless you.